A very good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel. And I'm still in France. You know, this is one of those trips where I didn't look on forehand if there was anything to photograph. You know, I just looked for a nice spot to spend some time with the family. Ended up where I am right now. And today there was a good chance of some fog, and so I went out for some photography, and you can probably see it behind me if you look right now. I am next to a very, very busy road. So I'm just gonna wait for the cars to pass by every now and then. And I can already tell you that the gases that come from the exhaust of the cars, I don't think there's a limit to it in France, you know. If I stand next to a road in the Netherlands like this, man, it's totally different here. Or everyone drives a diesel. I don't know what it is, but these cars stink. So, but let me show you what I found. So I'm going to turn you around like this. So this is beautiful viewpoint, but it's the only viewpoint next to this busy road here. The park that I'm staying is down there in the fog, and I was actually hoping for some nice shots like I did yesterday with the phone video. Hope you've seen it. I don't know if that's ever going to be released, to be honest, but I thought it was a nice touch to do a phone video once. But the difficult thing with that place was that the fog was so dense that I couldn't see properly. So I'm quite close to the city of Laon. I don't know if I pronounce it right, but Laon is a very beautiful city, high up a hill, beautiful church. So I just thought, let's go there, and maybe I have this nice fog layer there underneath it. But the further I drove to Laon, I drove about 10 minutes in that direction, there was no fog. Every fog disappeared. So the only fog here is in this valley where the big lake is underneath. So there's a lake underneath here where my holiday park is next to. And yeah, that's why we're having the fog in this specific location here. And the sun is going to rise straight over there. So at this point, I think I'm just gonna wait and see what happens when this fog is going to be illuminated from the rising sun, when it gets from above that hill. But that is still probably about 30 minutes away from now. So yeah, let's just wait, see what's going to happen. And yeah, I'm not quite comfortable here next to that road, but it is what it is. Well, okay, sometimes you have to be a bit lucky, you know. I'm just standing here and just look behind me. Two beautiful cows just walked from the bottom of this grass here, and they kept on walking, so I imitated a cow. So a little bit like, you know. And somehow that stopped them, and they were standing still for about 10 seconds. So I quickly took a shot. You know, I'm working with a shutter speed of 2 seconds at the moment. There's just not much light, but I think the shot is phenomenal. You know, it's phenomenal. This is my first shot with the 40-150 f4, so I don't have the 2.8 with me on this trip. I just wanted to be a little bit lightweight, and I wanted to try this thing. So quite happy I did bring this one, but I already noticed two negatives, and I just like to do some manual focus, especially when there's not that much light. And there's no switch on this lens that you can pull back, you know, the little switch down here that you can pull towards you. So that's a negative. Now I have to go into the menu. It just takes a lot more time to go into manual mode. The second thing that I'm noticing, I'm just gonna wait for the cars to pass. So a lot of cars just passed by, so I changed my position a little bit here in the meantime. But two things that I noticed: the manual focus that I talked about, and the second thing is there's no lens color on this. And you might think, well, that's not a problem. But when I want to take a portrait shot right now, I have to turn the camera to the side of the tripod with its ball head, which just isn't as steady as just camera on top. Of course I can buy an L bracket, but again I have to buy something. I have to attach it to the camera. I just don't like it. So let me show you this first shot with those cows. Absolutely amazing. And then we're going to continue shot with the 42-150 f4 that's on the camera right now. So those two cows wandered off into the bushes on the left here. You can see they just walked just right to the fence and then wandered off in that direction. But they did create, if you look into the field in the front, there are now two walking lanes from the cows. And I'm actually going to use that as a sort of a leading line into all this foggy, moody atmosphere here. So yeah, I think it's quite nice. I just took one pretty close up and I'm going to take one with a little bit of the sky in. But it actually looks quite nice, you know, a little extra dimension of leading lines going into the valley. But yeah, I'm always the kind of guy that thinks to itself, I only need one shot to make a trip worth it. Or sometimes you don't even need the shot, sometimes it's just about the experience, being out in nature, just clearing your head. But I think I nailed the shot. I really think I did with the two cows. So I'm standing here being quite happy. I just looked on the camera and I was like, okay, everything's in focus. This is just a really cool shot. So yeah, absolutely happy with that. But I'm just going to continue, see what's happening. Still some time to go before sunrise. And I can always drive into that valley, see if I can snatch a couple of nice shots. So yeah, these are the shots here with the lanes. Hopefully they worked out. So I wanted to take a bit of a wider angle shot on this side, but as you can see, we're approaching sunrise now. And what happens is what always happens with fog. The fog increases during sunrise. And now I can't see anything more than one giant layer of fog. And so I'm just standing here considering my options, because it's not going to get any better, I think, than what we have just seen. It's just too much fog. You know, too much fog. Hear me talk about that. You know, the cow is back. You can see it here, one of them. But there's no intention of walking back into that field. So I'm actually considering to go back in the car and drive into that layer of fog with the rising sun in a couple of minutes. That might produce some stunning light images. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pack up my stuff, walk back to the car, which is quite sketchy because I have to walk by the side of that road, but let's see what we can find. So, the boulangerie. I just figured that we didn't have any breakfast yet, so I drove by this boulangerie here and just got a couple of breads, croissants. It's much cheaper than on the park that we are staying at the moment. So yeah, we're gonna continue, see what we can find in this thick layer of fog. Hopefully hopefully we can still find a couple of nice shots here. So when you're driving through a location that you don't know that well, and especially in conditions like this, you know, just take what you can get, just take what you can get, you know. And again, I drove by a group of cows, and with this foggy backdrop, if you ask me, it just looks really nice. So I'm just taking a couple of nice images here of this group of cows. I'm going to try to move a little bit closer. So I just love it. You know, from where I was standing earlier, you could only see a foggy backdrop behind those cows. But from this location, let me show you, I'm still photographing these 3 cows here, but I'm including those 2 trees in the back of my frame, creating much more of a landscape shot with a lot of it going on into it. And these 2 over here just started to bump their heads, and I don't know if they were trying to make a fight or they were just like hugging each other or something like that. But I think it just really worked nice for the photos, you know. It's not, of course it's not nature, you know, these are not wild cows, but it is a landscape, you know, a rural landscape of farmlands, which actually really suits this area. So yeah, quite pleased with those shots. Couple of doves flying over. Yeah, absolutely loving it. So these are the shots of the cows here, and absolutely worth a stop. If you ask me, let me know in the comments what you think. So I'm just driving along all those farmlands here, hoping that I see something of interest. And a couple of minutes ago I just stopped somewhere, and there was a tree that looked like there were all these birds' nests in it, and it just looked really nice actually. And so I decided to stop to take an image, but some French guy came over, and he definitely wasn't happy with me there. You know, I don't speak French, and I couldn't understand a thing what he said. But yeah, I don't go much further than merci, bonjour, au revoir, je ne sais pas, and je ne parle pas de français. So that's about all the French that I know. But that guy definitely made clear that he didn't want me there photographing. You know, it was a public road. But I just got in the car and said au revoir. So, but I don't know if the shot worked, because I was kind of still figuring it out when this guy approached, and I'm actually looking at an awesome spot here. So I'm going to park the car for a second, and I'm going to show you the shot of the bird nests, if it worked, and I'm going to try to get a couple of images right here. You know, I travel to different countries, like I am now in France. And somehow the fog just keeps chasing me. I don't know what it is, but even on a holiday, I just seem to find these foggy conditions amazing. Just look at this spot right here. If I turn you around, absolutely great conditions. I'm just trying to zoom in with the 40-150 f4, try and catch a couple of nice images, but it's quite of a difficult location. But yeah, gonna get back in the car. I'm gonna show you a couple of images that I just snatched here from this landscape. Yeah, I think a couple of nice ones in them, so let's hope they work. So I'm back at the lighthouse where I started last week's video. I'm back on the park, just parked the car on the parking lot and just took a nice shot of this lighthouse with all the mood and atmosphere of the fog. And today there are also 2 fishing boats here in the water with people fishing with that beautiful light, only fog around it, so really minimalistic. So I think it's really nice to still show you these images. So yeah, these are the images of the lighthouse and the boats, just real simple, real minimalistic, but they just work. So with those last shots, I'm going to end today's video. I'm almost back at my holiday home with the breakfast for my family. And I just promised that I wouldn't take all day photographing, although the conditions are still here. No, absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is, I didn't drive further than 15 minutes from my park that I'm staying in, 15 minutes in an unknown area. So there's no need to drive very far, just drive in a close area and just give your eyes the chance to see stuff, you know. In the past I tended to drive for maybe an hour to a nature reserve, but you don't need much for a nice image. I think the image with the two cows in front with that foggy backdrop is amazing. I'm really looking forward to see that on the big screen. But yeah, what a morning, what an absolute surprise morning. So this is the only video, the last video from France that we're going to do. I promised my wife that I do only one trip during this 5 days that we're staying here. So yeah, very happy I was able to go out and get one shot that I think I'm very happy with. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please push that thumbs up button and the subscribe button underneath this video if you didn't subscribe already. And there's also a buy me a coffee link up here. And remember, there is still a couple of my calendars left for sale. So I'm not sold out yet. I have a couple ones in stock. So if you're interested in the calendar, please use the link underneath this video and it will take you to my web shop where you can order it with worldwide delivery. So yeah, hope to see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.